Here today. Good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday. It's evening in my end. For Vera, I think it's afternoon in her end. Yes,
Yeah,
and for
that's
Nymph,
right.
it's evening in her end as well. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Glow Lounge. Yes, and today we are going to be lounging and talking and gisting as women, talking about things that matter to us. And today is very important because today we want to talk about reading because I've discovered that so many women that say, "Oh, I don't have the time to read." If you have to ask yourself, I've asked some women, when was the last time you actually picked up a book to read? And some like, oh, from after I graduated, I've not read anything. Anyway, I used to be in that shoes. I remember when I was going to graduate from my master's, and I said to myself, I'm not going to read again, as in this is my last reading point, as in I'm closing everything about book. But then, thank God, I didn't let that happen. I picked up reading. Thank God for communities I've been in, and they helped me. I picked up reading, and reading became a thing. And I went on from becoming just a reader to becoming an author. And today I can say I have three books to my name. Yes. And my main one, Woman Blew Up. So this is how reading has actually changed my life. And it has become a routine for me. It has become something that if I don't read, if I'm not reading, I feel like what's happening? I was going on the plane and I picked up my book. I wanted to just read my book again because there's a difference between you being an author and you being a reader. So I wanted to just read my book all over again. But a few copies I took along with me traveling, people picked it up. So I didn't have anything coming back. And I didn't have any book to read. I felt like what's happening? I was just bored. I was bored inside of me. And I just felt like I was wasting time. So that's how much reading has actually helped me. It has become a part and parcel of me, and it has become something that I do as self care. I want to relax my head, I'm reading. I want to relax myself, I'm reading. And I know that that has actually been the same with my sisters here today. I know for sure. And we are going to be talking about reading as self care, how reading has improved our life, how our lives have changed, where we were before to the woman that we have actually become and we are becoming as well. So today we have here Vera Patrick Azodo. Yes. So Vera is here with us all the way from Canada. Yes, she's here all the way from Canada. And she had just come back from church and we're lounging and just discussing. I said, come on. Vera, let's talk about what has reading become for you. So Vera, she's an international intentional parent and she's the founder of the Reader's Corner. It's a bookstore and a reading hub dedicated to raising lifelong readers in homes. And drawing from her own reading journey, Vera likes to support parents in creating strong reading habits, fostering curiosity, building homes. She loves to read. She sells books as well. She went from just being a reader to becoming a book distributor to becoming a bookseller as well. So through the Reader's Corner, she provides practical tools. She organizes workshops. And you know what? Just recently, Vera organized a workshop for people to read and to review the recent book by Mr. Femi Otedola. And guess what? He wrote her a letter to say thank you for doing that. Yes, that is how much Vera has taken reading. Taking reading just beyond her to raising a community, a thriving community that help parents to become, help parents to read, help moms to read, help homes, even children to become readers. So the Readers Corner also supplies variety of books for people within Canada, the US, and all around. She's also a mom of two adorable children. So Vera is going to be speaking to us today. Yes. So, and then we have Mary Adegbimpe. Mary is also an ardent reader. Mary told me she grew from not reading to becoming that reader that now if she doesn't read a day, she feels like she's not happy in herself. And Mary has gone on to even organizing community of women for them to read together. Reading has so much shaped her life, shaped everything about her. And Mary is also a mother. So one thing in common about every one of us here today, we are mothers. Yes, we are busy moms like you, but we also try to find time to read. So, how do we do that? Come on, let's start with you, Vera. Tell us, how did you get yourself back in the space of reading after dropping and dumping your degree? Let's know.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach E, aka the Glow Queen, the only queen that is glowing all over UK, right? Thank you so much for having me. Hi, Mary. It's a pleasure having this session with you today. And hello, everyone. Um, so, for me, it's been quite a journey. When you were talking and you said after your master's program, you said you were never going to read again. That was also my story, right? After my first degree, I said, oh, I'm never going back to school again. I'm never going to read anything in my life again. And I want to believe this is not just us, this is the culture that we grew up in. We were not taught that reading is life, that reading is the way to the city. We were made to see that reading was just a chore. It was just a tick the box kind of activity. Alas, they lied to us. Thank God women like us are beginning to realize the truth. We're beginning to rise up to the occasion to understand that you cannot rise above what you know. It is your knowledge level that determines your height in life, your achievement in life. So I was also like that. And I think after like almost 10 years after first degree, thereabout, maybe between 7 and 10 years. And then I summoned up the courage to go back to do an MBA. And it was such a struggle. Like, I'm like, at the point I wanted to give it up. Like, who even sent me? What am I doing here? And then I was heavily pregnant for my first child then. I was doing that in Unilag. It was so stressful. Driving from the office to Yaba every day. It was really crazy. But then I finished it. By the time I finished it after 2 years, I said again to myself, this is the last. I am never doing this again, But, along the line, fast forward many years after, life happened. And thankfully, I got into a community, the Inner Circle community, where we were made to read books, every month, parenting books specifically. And I remember then in my first year in the Inner Circle, I couldn't boast of finishing one book in a whole 1 year. I think in the first year, I just managed to buy a few books. So it was a progressive growth, right? I bought the book in the first year. In the next year, I read one book. And then in the next two, it was as slow as a snail, right? But one thing they say, slowly but surely. And so I moved from reading one book in a year to reading one book in 1 hour. This month, the book for the month for this month, I read it in 90 minutes. Yeah, I read it in 90 minutes. And like Coach E already said, I had a very busy November planning the book review for Mr. Femi Otedola's book. So part of my strategy was to put everything else on hold, give my full energy to that program, make it successful, and then I pick up every other thing. And mind you, it doesn't mean I stopped reading, because I had to read the book about 3 times before the program. I was going to host the program, so I needed to know the nitty-gritty of the book. So I put on hold my books for the month from the other academies, and I focused on that one. As soon as that program was over, I think 2 or 3 days after, I picked up the book for the month, which was Building Your Marriage Plan by Kunle Oluge, and I read it up in 90 minutes. So it has been a journey, a slow one, but I'm grateful for where I am right now. So that has been it for me, from moving from, okay, so even before the Inner Circle, I could say that I didn't read a book for like 5 years or 10 years. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? But then one thing that stands out for me is I have always admired people who read. Even though I didn't have the skill, I didn't know how to do it, but every time I pass by, maybe I'm on air, I'm flying, or I'm going somewhere and people are just waiting and they have a book in their hand, like I get fascinated. I'm like, oh, really? They have a book in their hand? Oh my God, how do they do that? It was like, are these people in this planet? How are they reading? I always had a knack for reading, but I didn't know how to, get myself into it. Yeah. So I remember I usually tell the story. I remember then when I was working back home in Nigeria, I had this colleague, a guy who sat beside me, senior colleague, and every morning when he resumes work and gets on the system, he always does his reading. Like soft copy books, he will read the books, he will read the news, he will catch up on sports, catch up on history. He does that. It was like sacrosanct every morning. Before, as I'm even saying hello, he's like, hi, 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 like, don't disturb this. And I always like just use corner eye, I'll just be looking at him like, hey, I like what this guy is doing. But I never bothered to attempt it. I just admired it from afar. Right. But one thing I noticed about the guy was every time he stood up to talk, this guy was speaking, spitting fire in any topic at all. If you mention sports, you can't win an argument with him. If it is history, if it is politics, if it is religion. So something shifted in me, and I said to myself, this guy must be getting something from this habit, you know. So all of those experiences with the inner circle experience and everything added up and led to where I am today, thankfully.
Thank you so much, Vera. Thank you. That is so informative. Like, seriously, I think we all have something in common. We finish school and we feel like, oh, we're not going to read anymore.
Mhm.
No, it's the end. And the next thing is motherhood, carrying babies, and all that. And we feel like maybe reading is not part of the things that we should do. But getting yourself back, it's one thing, and just going from there. And the
Yeah,
thing is, reading actually opens our mind. Just like you mentioned, the boy, the guy which you did mention, reading opens up your mind to even things that you think that you do not know, or things you're not really aware of. That's one thing that reading does. It shapes us, it shapes our mind.
yeah.
So it's very important that we all embrace reading as a lifestyle. So let's hear from Mary at Pay. Can you share with us what's your story about reading?
Okay, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here today. I want to say special thank you to Coach E.
Welcome.
Thank you for this privilege. I really appreciate it. Okay, so reading for me, my story is a bit different. So I got to know about reading in university. That was year two, in the College of Medicine then. So I met this lady, and then the first thing she asked me was, "So Alpha, what book are you reading?" And I'm like, "What book are you reading? As in how? Where? Book?" As in, it was really strange to me. Like, hey, I'm reading my academic book. What book again? She said, "Oh, so have you heard about Joyce Meyer? Have you heard?" And I'm like, she said, "You have to start reading. Readers are leaders." That was how the whole thing started. And I was like, okay, let me open myself up to this opportunity. And it was a game changer. And that was how she walked me through the process, okay, get this book, get this. And I started seeing that my mind was, I was becoming transformed, So that was where my love for reading came. And I realized that it shaped my life. A lot of perspective changed. My world literally opened up.
Mm,
So I saw the benefits of reading right from university days. It shaped my journey in life. It shaped who I married, So
mm.
getting into marriage as well. So I was already, loving book then. And then getting into marriage, I my husband then, we read like 20 books before we got married.
Oh my
So,
God.
yes, we read it together. So our courtship period was discussing books.
Wow.
And then we would bring up scenarios like, okay, so if we get married and then we don't give birth, those kind of questions that you just be like, hey,
God
you know
forbid.
so, so a lot of
God forbid.
perspective came up, like, what if there is infidelity in our marriage? So we read wide, so we were, so, and we're 14 years in marriage today, and that foundation, is still, was, it was well laid with reading. But when you become a mother now, everything just changes.
Yes.
So getting into motherhood, busy, there's a whole lot going on, and then reading became like an impossibility. So, and then getting into the space of community now. I was in a community, Fleximum community then, and it helps me like get back my grooves in reading. Moving, migrating, coming to the United Kingdom, another, another tough period again. So reading became, a thing of the past. And then coming into inner circle was a game changer again. I was introduced to books, but I still found it hard with my schedule to fit it in until I found the accountability partner last year. It was first December that we started, and then, having that place where you can report that, okay, I've done this. I now got back the reading groove again. So we had to report 20 minutes of reading per day. I had to fit it to my schedule. And then that was how I got it. And then as I went on and on, I saw that, ah, this is the way to go. There is no success. There is nowhere one is going without reading. It's just a must, you know. And then I saw how it has literally transformed me. I'm not the same person that started, last year, this year. A lot has changed about the way I think. A lot has changed about my perspective. I just feel like I've added so much value to myself, as in that my mind has expanded. And something that I like to do when I see that I've gotten a groove of something, I like to carry people along. I like to help people grow. And that was what birthed the Read With Me global, concept. So that's my journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary, for sharing. Thank you so much. That's so inspiring. In fact, the one that got me, you and your husband reading 20 books before you got married. Like, seriously, as in, but that's so much grounding. That's so much knowledge. That's, you've got a lot of knowledge even before you stepped into the marriage by reading. And that is really, really inspiring. As in, I'm inspired. I know I love to buy books. I Even before getting married, I loved to buy Joyce Meyer, a lot
Yeah,
of books.
where was the thing?
Sometimes we bought all those books, and sometimes we didn't even get to read it. We're just
A lot.
very. I go for any conference, I'm buying, I'm buying, and buying. If you see me in
Mm.
conference, I'm always packing, coming back with books, lots of books, a lot. But you know what? We don't even get to read them some of the times. We just buy and we just come and keep them.
Yeah. Mm.
Generals, John Maxwell books, all those. We've been there, done that, but we just buy them, just keeping them for no reason. So, but one thing which you mentioned, you said accountability. I think one thing common amongst all of us is we belong to a particular accountability group, the TIP system, where we get to read every month. As in, every month there's a designated book you have to read, and because we have to read those books, it has actually helped us. And those are one of the things that has made us to come back to that speed of reading. So, but in reading, there are so many techniques. There are lots of techniques to use in reading, and I would like to know what actually works. Vera, what works for you? And you being even the coach for people that want to read, going from you're now a coach for readers that want to learn to read. Can you tell us what techniques work for you? What do you think? For a mom that has not been reading for a very long time, how can she get back to reading? What techniques can she use in reading? What can she do?
Okay. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mary. I really enjoyed your story. The part where you read 20 books. Hey, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I want to believe that means your kids, the family, everybody's just voraciously reading. And that's so interesting to know. So for me, the techniques I would say, first of all, is something called self-awareness.
Mhm.
I first realized that look, I need to make a change from this lifestyle. I can't continue living ignorantly and settling for the less, right? And one quote that triggered the whole thing was when Coach Wendy Oligi, when one of her sessions, she said, "If you can eat, then you can read." Huh. When I first heard that statement, I was like, I beg, I beg, I beg, what is this one now? Ah, if you can, how are you comparing eating and reading? How are they even the same thing? The little that I knew then. But come to think of it, The same thing that food does to your body, foodie fit mama, tell us, the same way it nourishes our body and makes us to glow is the same way that books nourish your mind. So like I was telling my kids one of these days, I said, you people want to be, you want to have kwashiorkor, mental kwashiorkor, because if you're not reading, then you're living with mental kwashiorkor. And hey, jokes apart, that's how a lot of moms are living in their families, mental kwashiorkor. Because you can't stay. How can you even stay a week without reading something? A month? How do you do it? A year? So your mind is starved, right? So for me, it was self-awareness. I first realized that look, there's a better way to do this thing. That's a better way to live. So for me, it was self-awareness. So I made up my mind. And then when I realized that I wasn't doing the right thing, like there was a better way to live as a mom, I decided to change. So self-awareness, decision to invest in my mind.
Mm.
There's a popular scripture that has been, living rent-free in my mind, and that's Romans 12, verse 2, that says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed
Transformed.
by the renewal,
Renewing of your
renewal,
mind.
renewal of your mind. So it got me to realize that investment in the mind is the biggest form of investment you can make in yourself. It is better to be rich in the mind and poor. But funny enough, you can never be rich in your mind and be physically poor. Never. So, I took that decision and then I began to invest. I just woke up like November now, next year is coming. I said to myself, see, this year, Vera, you're going to read. I don't care how you're going to do it. I was even working in a bank then. You know how bank work is in Nigeria. You wake up so early in the morning to beat traffic. You get home very late. But I said I was going to do it anyways. And then I started. So it was the self-awareness, the decision, and then it's not just to start. You need the staying power also. So I said to myself, okay, I start and then I read for a week and then I don't read anymore again for like 5 to 6 months. And that's when I began to groom myself on self-discipline. And then I began to read books on self-discipline. One of my most favorite definitions of self-discipline is the ability to keep the promise that you made to yourself. So you see, I've promised myself I'm going to read every day. The ability to love myself well enough to keep that promise, that is self-discipline. So that means that under the rain, in the sun, whether it is convenient or it is not convenient, because I love myself and I should be able to keep my promise to myself. So I had to find a way to get it done. And
Mm.
the thing about reading is not about the length of time. It is the starting. Even if it's just 1 minute you read a day, it does something in your mind. It tells your brain that, okay, you are faithful to this promise. And the brain feels like, okay, tomorrow is another day to give it another trial. So it's better to start small and keep to it than, make it a big task. Okay, I'm going to read 25 minutes every day. No, it's like a plan that is dead on arrival. So for me, I started very small. I said to myself, okay, if I can do 10 minutes every day, 10 minutes goes by really fast too. In fact, before you even doing TikTok, 30 minutes is even gone, right? So
So,
only that little commitment, 10 minutes, I just kept on doing it. I kept on doing it. Even when I couldn't meet up, I forgave myself and I woke up the next day. I saw it as a brand new day. And hi, hi, Madam Mokwe. Thank you. I salute you too. And so I kept on at it, right? And then the biggest piece of this for me was building the system. So nothing works that is not worked. I've always known that one. Like nothing works. Everything you see work, somebody is working on it back end. So I tried to create a system that could help me read better. One of those systems was schedule it. Schedule it. They say whatever doesn't get scheduled hardly gets done. So I had to schedule it. Okay, I have 24 hours. Which of these 24 hours, where can I find 10 minutes, 15 minutes to read? And I was able to schedule it, and then I put my what's it called, my time, my alarm clock on it. So at that time, I don't trust myself to remember. I had something to trigger me. So that's when they talk about the habit formation, they call it trigger, right? So that was the trigger for me. I had a trigger for myself. Mama, you know that this is my, you're touching my sweet point. So let me know when I need to stop because I can go on and on. Yeah. So when you want me to stop, just signal me like this so I can
That's
see it
fine.
going down, right? But good thing we have 1 hour, so we're good. So I just had to have the system, have the trigger, had something that will alert me, and then when I eventually read, so I understood the way the brain works. The way the brain feeds on reward system, right? So when I promise myself something and I successfully do it, I also learn to reward myself. I reward myself. So every time in a month I was able to meet up my reading stream, I buy myself something nice. I like to wear fancy things. Like I like clothes. I just like to look pretty and nice. So I just buy something, even if it's just one trinket, one gold, one small ring. Like I just kept on until, because I was always looking for something to buy for myself, then it was a motivation for me to get on reading. So I'll take a pause here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vera. Let me leak your little secret. Yes. So, Vera recently, after she had her reading challenge and her reading program, she said, "Come, I think I've done it. I've done a lot for myself. So let me treat myself. I need to get myself some new shoes."
Oh,
Yes.
But the truth is, yes, sometimes you've done something really good for yourself, which reading is part of it. We actually see reading as a big one, like a job, like someone is forcing you to do it. It's something that you have to be forced to do. But when it becomes like something that you want to do for yourself,
hmm.
it doesn't feel that way anymore. If you start feeling like something is lacking when you haven't done it for a while,
Yeah.
and when you've set yourself and say, "Oh, I'm going to finish this book, I'm going to finish." I got a message today from someone that attended my conference, and she just dropped me a message. I just came back from church and I saw this message, and she said she read my book in a week, that she couldn't drop it till she
Oh,
finished it. But that just made me realize that, come, when you really want to do something, go for it. And when you're enjoying it, keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. Finish that book. I also sell book as Vera as well. I started out selling books as well. And I realized some people that are not in accountability system or something, like some of them buy these books and they don't even get to read it at all.
mm,
I
Yeah.
remember a lady, I had to beg her, say, buy just one of these books. She bought one. And after 3 months, I asked her, how far, how are you going? How have you gone with this book? She hasn't finished reading the book. And that's just like Connect to Correct, which is one of our very
wow.
small
Small
books.
book.
For those of us in the inner circle, we know. So, but that just tells you that reading shapes us, but you have to be strategic. You have to put in system in place. Like Vera mentioned, she set triggers.
Mm.
Set up something. Is it an alarm you want to set up? But do something. Find a way. You just have to find a way. So, Mary, over to you. Share your story.
Thank you. So I would say one of my big strategy is being in the right circle, because when you see people doing things, it just gives you that you would at least you have something, you have, even if you're not there yet, you have like a template of who you want to become. When Coach Wendy, when she mentions that she reads, is it 5 books a month or something, and I'm like,
Yeah, they're
wait,
about. Mhm.
is she a human being? Is that normal? And
Mhm.
and then, like Vera said, joining inner circle, and this is my the one we're concluding now is my 4th year. So the first 3 years was just as if I just came to play, as in I was really not achieving anything. Reading, I had all the books from year one. Read, I couldn't get to it. And then by the 3rd year, I met Madame Mopelola. In fact, amazing woman. She was in my court. And then we were in the same reading group. And you know us now, we that will always depend on people to do the book review. So she will just come. She has finished reading the book. All of us, oh yeah, who are the people doing? Do slide, do this. Everybody will be, before you know it, she has done this. She has gone to rescue us in the group. And at some point, she left us all alone. in that reading group. Because when it's time for us to show up, we don't show up. She will just go to the main group and go and show up on our behalf. Shout out to her. She's amazing. So when I saw that template firsthand, I private chatted her because there was a particular one she did. I had to chat her to just tell her thank you on behalf of the group. I was ashamed of us. I was ashamed for us. And I was like, thank you on behalf of the group. But I want to know. And that's where the open-minded comes from. Like, this is somebody. For her to be able to do it, she is also busy like me. How is she able to do it? And when we got talking, she even told me that she's a branch manager. And I understand what that means because I also worked in the banking sector back there in Nigeria and I managed, branches, even bigger branches. And I was like, you are a branch manager and you're able to read books. And I even got to know that she can sit down and finish a whole book in 1 hour. And I was like, hey, where? How is this person doing it? So it was fascinating for me. And I think she sowed a seed in me from that point on. And I was so inspired. And by the next year, when it was posted on the UK Yada group that if you know you are ready to be dragged this coming year, just come and be my DM. That was Coach Debbie. I ran there. I said, see, I'm ready. I'm ready to be in an accountability system and I'm ready to be dragged. Just drag me. And that was how it started. I think that was a strategy for me that really worked. And then I can be in that group, I can be in the accountability group and still not deliver. But because I had opened my mind and I had made up my mind that I would do this, we had to deliver 20 minutes per day. And I just said, if that was all I can commit to, just deliver 20 minutes reading every day. So I just restructured my schedule. I had come to understand what works for me. I'm an early riser. I wake up early, I sleep early, I wake up early. So I just scheduled the reading into my early morning schedule so that once I wake up, I do my devotional, I would make sure I read before I go. And then as time went on, I started tweaking it, but I made sure that I put in, that like you said, self-discipline. I disciplined myself and it's the thing about habits, forming habits is it first comes as a struggle, like it takes self-discipline to start to it comes as if you're struggling, but it gets to a point where the big mo takes over. That's the momentum. You just start flying. And then it becomes like without doing it, I'm not okay. It's not, I can sit down and then read 1 hour, 30 minutes if I have the time, 3 hours, and I'm enjoying my life, So that is how it starts. So having been in a right circle for me, I think is very important. Seeing people that you see that this is not rocket science. If these people can do it, I can as well. I think it's a big thing. And then having the discipline to be able to follow through is going to be a process. Because even when you are there, you can still remain the same person if you don't make certain decisions, you know, by yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thanks to Madam Opelola. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being an inspiration. Even being a bank manager and still having time to read, you've inspired a lot of people. So thank you. I can see you on the comment section. Thank you so much. Yeah, we all have inspiring stories, but the truth is we've all found time. We've all tried to create systems. We've all tried to find ways to work around these things. It didn't just happen by magic, but because we had to build in system, build in some structures, and we had to intentionally tell ourselves that we need to do this. And we started doing it gradually, and then we are loving it and it's becoming a habit. Yeah. Thank you so much. We're going to go on a quick short break. And when we come back from our short break, we will continue our discussion. We're going to be talking about how does reading become a self-care thing? How can it apply as self-care for we women? Can reading, which we usually see as work, hard work? Can it become like a self care process for we women? So we're going to be talking about that when we come back from our break.
Do you have healthy living as one of your plans? Do you want to do clean inside out? Do you want to eat healthy? Do you want to embrace wellness as a lifestyle? Yes, what are you waiting for? You need to join the Trim and Glow Tribe. Yes, the Trim and Glow Tribe is for women that want to embrace wellness as a lifestyle. Women that feel tired in themselves, but they still want to push themselves to glow. So, I would like you to join the Trim and Glow Tribe. For the Trim and Glow Tribe will change for the good. You become that woman. And you want to look into the mirror, and when you see it, you want to smile like you get to like what you see. Yes. Are you ready to glow from the inside to the outside? Join the Trim and Glow Tribe 2026.
I answer sweetly. My rest is holy. This is where I'm meant.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So, back to you, Vera. So, can you tell us how is reading? How can we women take reading as self care? Can reading actually become a self care routine for we women? We that are busy, taking care of children, taking care of husband, taking care of, we have our full time jobs. Can reading actually become a self care thing for we women? Tell us, Vera.
Thank you, Mama. And amazing. The commercial video, it's so nice. It's so pretty. I like it. So yes, reading is actually a big time self-care routine for everyone, especially for women. In the following ways. First of all, reading, you know, creates this mental space, gives women like a mental space. So, like you already said, we're busy saving the entire whole world, but not saving ourselves. So, the moment you pick up a book to read, just that act alone creates this mental space for you where you're alone. You're in your own world. At least at that time, you're not in the kitchen cooking. You're not patting somebody's back. You're not separating fight from toddlers. You're just on your own. So that me time, number one, counts as self care, no matter how short it is. Even if it's just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour, that you spend time all by yourself between the pages of a book. Like my pillow here says, between the pages of a book is a lovely place to be. And I totally agree. So that's self care, one. Secondly, research has proven that reading at least 6 minutes a day reduces stress. Like
Hmm.
it reduces some certain hormones that just brings down your stress level.
Dopamine. Hmm.
Yeah. So many people we say, oh, we're busy, we're chasing this, we're chasing that, and we're all, burnt out, we're fatigued. But here lies just a natural therapy from God Himself. Pick up one book, just pick up. And when we say reading, let us not even confuse it. It doesn't have to be self-help. It doesn't have to be parenting books, which, or hey, atomic habits, those big ones. No, even if it's just a pamphlet, even if it's just a storybook. When the Reader's Corner started, initially we used to stock only self-help. But as I grew in the journey, I realized that it doesn't have to be all serious reading. I can actually pick up a Chimamanda's book and I have one very tiny one, is even maybe like 20 pages. And anytime I just pick one of them, I'm like, you're just hearing somebody's story, hearing them talk about nature, describe life, and it's actually therapeutic, right? Even in the business. So let us try to, create time for the things that matter most. Another reason why I think that reading is self-care, it's boosts your personal growth, right? And how is it self-care? Imagine you're in point A at the beginning of the year, and by December you've moved to point Z. there is this satisfaction that it brings to you. Like you're proud of yourself. That moment of appreciation and, you know, being excited about what you do is self-care. You know, there's a thin line between what's it called now? I don't want to say it's not bitter, depression or bitterness and happiness. It's just a thin line. They said depression is when you have not been happy for, I think, whether it's 2 weeks consecutively or something. That's depression. You're in us now, you know. So
Mhm.
even reading stories, reading about children, reading to your children, all those things, that moment of happiness, that moment of excitement, it's self-care. It's cleansing you from inside to outside. So
Mm.
uh, like you said, many people see reading as a task or a chore. Reading is not a chore. It is a habit that cleanses your system from inside to outside. So when you
It's
see
true.
those of us that read and we're all glowing, like many times I'm up by myself and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just so happy. My daughter will say, Mommy, what is that? I said, I'm just happy. I don't know. Like, like there's this joy that just flows by. Like when I look at where I was in January 2025, and just like you, Coach E, you know how we started the book distributorship thing, right? And I've also
Mm.
authored a book this year myself. And this is me, like when I see authors, I'm like, how are they? How do they write? Like how? And don't forget, I actually graduated with a first class, right? Microbiology first class. I was actually in medical school before I left. So I know I have the brain. So it's not like when people are writing, I'm like, how they so when I think about, I'm like, how are they able to put their thoughts together? But in my journey of becoming a reader, I was able to write 100-page book to guide parents on how to raise readers in their homes. So everything about reading consistently is magical. Honestly, if I have to spend the rest of the time talking about how reading is self-care, then I won't give Mary the time to talk. So I better just stop here. But in my last lines, I'll say that everything about reading is magical and it is therapeutic. It cleanses our bodies from the inside out. Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Vera. That is so
Mm.
powerful. Thank you. As you mentioned, dopamine, the happiness hormones. Have
Mm.
you ever felt like you are reading and you just breathe, you just release this stress out of you?
Absolutely.
Maybe after you've done all the whole shouting from the day, mommy this, mommy that, and you just lay on your bed. I like to just sometimes I just like to just for my own personal unwinding is maybe just going on my bed after doing my night care, self-care routine, put on my candle on my bedside lamp, and I just take my book and I just take, even if it's for a few minutes, even if it's 15, 20 minutes, it just calms me down. And it just helped me to just breathe. Like you're just releasing all the tension, releasing all the stress that you've been through the day. And then you're reading something that is inspiring you or something that is even meeting that particular need that you actually want. It's so powerful. Even if it is a devotional, just read. Ensure that you try to read. Because reading is like you feeding your body. Like Vera said, when you read, you glow from the inside out. It's true. Your mind glows. Just as I teach people to trim and to glow, like the Trim and Glow Wellness program starting in January. So I'm inviting all mamas. You need to come. You want to glow? You want to glow? Come and join the Trim and Glow tribe. Yes, so you can glow from the inside to the outside. There we teach you how to eat and glow. Yes. So also the mind needs to glow. And how can you make your mind
Yeah.
to glow? Feed your mind by reading.
Mind.
When you read, your mind would glow. And that is what we all need. We all need that glow. Every woman need her spark. We all have that glow. We have it inside of us. So bring it out. Bring it from the inside to the outside. So Vera is also organizing a program for women as well, for parents, everyone, starting January as well. I think it's going to be for 6 months. Is it for 6 months, Vera? Just to
4 months. For 4 months.
yes,
Yeah.
for 4 months. Okay. Yes, for people to come to learn. Are you struggling with how to read? Then you actually need to come and join. Vera's book.
Book
Yeah, she
Lovers
calls it Book
Club.
Lovers Club. You
Yeah,
need to join the Book Lovers Club. If you're in Canada, don't miss this. Even if you're in the UK or anywhere, you can
yeah,
join virtually. So, yeah, Book Lovers Club is ongoing. So you need to join the Book Lovers Club. The Book Lovers Club would help you to learn to read again. If reading has actually become a problem for you, you need to join the Book Lovers Club. So on to Mary. Can you tell us? No, Mary, talk to us. How has reading become a self-care thing for you? Is it
All
helping
right.
you to release those happiness hormones as well? Tell
It
us.
is. It is. Yeah, thank you. So I would ask a question. What if you were told that 68% of the stress you're going through can calm down just within 6 minutes? Would you run
Mm,
for it? Would
mm,
you jump at it?
mm,
That is what reading does. So it is a super, I'll call it a super stress reliever. Now, the strategy I use at work now, I have 1 hour of break. And 30 minutes out of that 1 hour is my reading time. And I work in a very like a fast-paced kind of environment that, in fact, I used to think I was very busy back then when I was in the bank in Nigeria. But now the stress level, and you'll be wondering that exactly what am I doing? You'll be shouting overwhelmed, overwhelmed. But when I calm down during the day, during my work hours, my 30 minutes of my break goes to reading. And by the time I'm done, I come back refreshed. So if you're looking for that lifestyle where you can always, just calm down the nerves, just let your nerve relax, your muscle relax, your brain relax, then think about reading. And just like Vera said, that there are some times that you just read and it's the joy, you just laugh out sometimes, you just all those things, it release stress.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it also helps, it calms down, it calms you down mentally. And there's something funny that, of course, that we always hear, and that we, of course, a lot of us have experienced it when we were along, in life. Or if you want to sleep at night, just carry your Bible and start reading. It's like a joke that if you want to sleep, just carry your Bible. Is it what does that mean? It means that it's a form of reading, and that's what reading does.
Mhm.
It's a sleep enhancer.
True, true.
It just because we are in a world where everywhere is just stimulated. And that takes me to the digital detox thing that reading does. Everywhere, you know, stimulation, TV, social media, this, it just hypes the brain, it just sparks up the brain. You're just all stimulated. But the calming, what brings that calm and what brings the detox is reading. And that's why it will just, a lot of times when you just, start reading, you just see that it just tones down, your mind. It just tells your mind that, oh, I'm unwinding.
True.
So
Mhm.
we're missing a lot if we've not gotten into the reading space. There's a lot we can get from. And then the fact that, because the value you place on yourself, the way you see yourself, the inside of you, the kind of value that you feel inside determines the kind of value you would attract outside. So when we're able to read, we expand our value. As in we see ourselves the way we see, that we are more than this. Our perspective changes, our mind changes. We begin to transform to a better, part of ourselves, and it touches every aspect. And that's what reading does. Reading, it touches your mind, and then from your mind it flows through every aspect. The way you care for yourself, my self-care, the way I even care for my body and everything, it has improved since I started reading, since I became, an ardent reader. physically, spiritually. I used to struggle with reading my Bible. I would have excuse now, busy,
Mm,
busy. Yeah, God understands, all those kind of things. But when I started reading,
mm,
I can now have a culture. I now have a culture of reading one chapter per day. And because my mind keep expanding, there is this capacity, there is this shift, there's this capacity building that comes with reading. You just see that I can do more, I can take more, I can undo more. So before you know it, you would do more and more and more, you know, and all that. And then being able to see opportunities now and grab it, it helps me care for myself better. So I'll just stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you so much, Vera. Thank you so much. You've shared both inspiring things. As Mary said, reading has become her self-care routine. Reading has helped her to care for herself more. Yes, because it makes it to become more self-aware. You're more aware of yourself. You're more conscious of yourself. You want to look after yourself the more. You want to detox your brain. You want to detox your body. You want to glow. You want to just, it is an all-round enhancer, I would say. So like even in the Trim and Glow tribe, next year we're going to be having like reading schedules as well, because it's part of our glow thing. Yeah. It's not just beauty in the face and the head is empty.
empty.
No. No. We want everywhere to be glowing. Let everywhere be
Popping.
popping. Be popping, popping, popping wisdom, popping that glow. So, if your reading has not become a thing for you, I need you to ask yourself, if this year, throughout this year, you did not sit down to actually read a book from the beginning to the end, don't take that habit in 2026,
Mm-mm,
please. You don't
mm-mm.
want to be left out, Mama. You don't want to be left out, Queen. Yes, you want to be that smart woman, that smart queen. As you are telling your children, go and read your book. Are you carrying your own book? They need to see you. They need to see you reading. Yes, they need to see you. If your child says to you one day, Mommy, you're not reading, you're telling us to read, what are you going to do? They need to see you read. So pick up a
Yeah.
book to read. I mentioned I went from becoming just reading to becoming an author, writing books. And I'm not going to stop there. So you can be that as well. You can be that. We all can be that. And thank you, Madam Mupel. Your messages on the chat is so inspiring. I can see your messages talking about books you've been reading wide, like reading different aspects, different types of book every month is such a blessing. It's such a blessing. It's really, really inspiring. So it's inspiring to see women reading. And this is a bank manager that is so busy. What time does she have? And she's gone beyond just reading, but reading wide, as in reading different kind of books. And all can actually be this. We all can be. So I'm just gonna say in few words, because we have few minutes to go. I want every one of us to just say, what can we say to every woman, the woman that is struggling out there? Where can she start from? And if she starts, how can she be able to get on reading? I know about personally, I learned to binge read this year especially. And Vera being also one of my accountability people as well. Come, Mama, you have to read. So anywhere we read. And sometimes Vera even teaches me some skills. Use your finger. Go through the lines. You want to read it quickly. Go through the lines quickly. Use something. Could be a pen or something. You develop skills that could help you to be able to read effectively. So I want you, Vera, talk to us. What skills? First of all, what can you say to that mama that want to start reading? Where can she start? How can she start from? Like personally, I would say, okay, start from small, start from little books. So
Yeah.
what other skills can you say to her? What can she do? And how can she be able to read quickly, to be able to finish up a book? Some people can spend a whole day, they are reading one chapter. Yeah. So talk to us. What advice do you have to advise? What kind of speed reading skills, binge reading habits that mothers can develop to be able to read?
Okay, thank you, Coach E. So for me, I would say that the starting point for you is scheduling. You need to look at your calendar and see where you can slot in that life-changing habit called reading. And to explain this, I usually like to use this very it's common, but many people might not know about it. Is an analogy called the rock and the pebbles analogy. What does it say? So imagine you have a jar, a big jar filled with pebbles. Those are the small, small stones, almost to the brim, almost, right? And then you have a couple of rocks, big rocks by the side. You're expected to put in as many rocks into that jar filled with pebbles. Now, the pebbles represent your current lifestyle, the busy schedule, chasing work, chasing business, cooking, house chores. Those are the pebbles. Whereas the big rock is your reading, your quiet time, your relaxing time, or like any new habit you're trying to pick. That's the big rock. So, if you put in 3 or 4 rocks in that jar, it's going to get filled up, right? Because the jar was already almost filled. So that's what happens when you try to put reading into your already busy schedule. You can't put in enough. You won't get enough. What are you going to do instead? Remove the pebbles and put your rock first. So it's called the big rocks go in first. If you put your big rocks first, you find out that you can put 10 of those rocks, and then you can still pour the sand, the pebbles, and all of them will still fit in. That is a simple explanation. Start with what matters most. You don't put reading after when you're finished, you are all exhausted. It's just a piece of you that is no. Like Mary said, she starts at the beginning of the day. That shows how much priority you place on reading. And that's same for me. My reading time is very early in the morning. I am an early riser and I'm an early sleeper, just like Mary. So that should tell you that there's something about going to bed early and waking up early, because I've come to understand that that is when my brain is at the peak of learning, peak of openness. So the 10 minutes you read early in the morning is better than the 1 hour you read when you're stressed out in the evening. Right. So that's my scheduling, and then my timing. I make it very early in the morning. Many of us, when we wake up, good morning, Jesus, we carry phone, WhatsApp. Mba, stop it today, repent. When you say your good morning, Jesus, carry your book and read. And like Mary also said, I wanted to chip in that my Bible study this year like took a different turn this year. Like I can't even believe. Like I can't remember one day that I didn't study my Bible in 2025. There were some years, I've been a Christian since they gave birth to me. There are some years I didn't even read one. So one thing reading does is that the way you're consistent in reading, it's boomerangs into other areas of your life. The way you're consistent in one thing is the same way you be consistent in other things. So I'm a living testimony. I schedule it and I do it when my brain is at the peak, the alpha period of my brain, and then that's how I do my reading. So I hope this helps any busy mom. Put your big rocks in first before the pebbles. The pebbles will always find a way to enter the buckets. They will, don't worry. But make sure you get in the most important things about yourself. That is your reading time, your devotional time, your journaling time, those self-care, mind care routine. Put them in first. That would be my advice. And then talking about tips that help me read faster. You already said a part of it is speed reading is a thing. Speed reading means that you train your eyes to read faster than the normal reading word by word by word by word. And one of the ways that you can achieve that is by using a pacer, like a pen or a tool or whatever. Growing up, they told us stop reading, stop pointing your hand when you're reading. That was a lie. They lied to us. Pointing is actually the magic you need to read faster. Because your brain trains your eye to follow your hand. So when I'm reading now, my daughter this is how I read. My eye just goes. My daughter, at the moment, are you really reading? I say, yes, I'm reading. And I'm understanding every single thing because I've trained my brain to follow my hand. So the more you do that, your eye is already going with your hand. So that's my secret, one of my secrets to read really fast. And when you were talking about the book lovers club, the book, just to talk about it a little bit. So book lovers club is for adults who are tired of struggling with life generally. You're stuck financially, you're stuck mentally, you're stuck in your relationships, you're stuck in business, and you want to grow through the wisdom found in books. That is what Book Lovers Club is about. It's not just about reading, no. It is about reading, applying what you read, and becoming transformed from what you read. Because many people don't read because they don't see the benefits. But I believe that when you read one book that attacks that problem and gives you the solution, we will beg you to stop reading because you will see how books can solve problems. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vera. Thank you so, so much. I'm going to just answer these few questions before we go on to Miriam, before we call it a day. So, someone is asking about hard copies and soft copies. I personally will recommend you reading hard copies. Now, here is my personal reading, my personal reasons.
Reason.
One,
Okay.
when you read hard copies, I read with markers. I like to read with markers. When I'm reading, I'm tracing out the very important point. So when I go to the book next time, I just open, I'm like, oh, okay. And I just read it. So it helps me. That sticks. Another thing is, for those that have children, you want your children to see you reading. And if you want them to emulate by seeing you reading, you need to have hard copies. They're not going to be seeing you with phone reading and you say you're reading. They're not going to understand because they may be thinking that you're doing something else. So you
Yeah.
want to be an example to your children. You want to see, you want them to watch you read. So take a hard copy book and read. While they are sitting reading a hard copy book, you also read a hard copy book. Don't read a soft copy book while your children are reading a hard copy book. So those are my reasons. And I think those actually they are very effective. So I would say go for hard copy books. It would help you. You can decide to have both. Maybe when you're at work, it's fine. You can do your soft copy. But then why can't you just carry the book in your bag? Yeah, carry the book anywhere you go. Another thing, for someone asked about how can you start reading for someone that has not been reading, how can you when you don't even understand? I would say firstly, take your book anywhere you're going. And even if it's 5 minutes, just read. Start with books that you can understand. Don't go and start. You want to start with what's one hard book I can call now? Start with
Um, Atomic Habits, 5 a.m. club. Those
I
big,
was
big
going to
ones.
say Atomic Habits.
7
Yes.
habits of
Maybe
expecting family.
Atomic
Big
Habits
ones.
started with all the funny, funny scenarios of 5 a.m. club. The way it started with all the scenario that looks like magic. If
Yeah.
you're not really a reader, you won't really understand it. You'll
No,
be like,
too
Yeah.
what's this person
complex.
talking about? Because it takes you a while when you, especially when you start reading 5 a.m. club, it takes you a while for you to be able to now understand and go into really what is this person talking about. So
Yeah.
start with books that you can relate with. Start with simple, simple books that you can
Yeah.
actually that just go straight to the point. Start with my book, Woman Glow Up. Go to Otedola's book.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
books that you can actually relate with. Coach Wendy's books, parenting books. Go to books that you can actually relate with. I would say go with your kind. You know what I mean? Before you now go to those big, big ones, start from the little ones. Yeah. Then before you gradually migrate and start with
Mm.
smaller books. Don't go
Yeah.
and start with Atomic Habits. Start with a smaller book, 100 and something pages. That will be good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Mary, can you tell us before we
Mm.
call it today? Our time is fast spent. Just give us your few words.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I would like to say shout out to my dad and mom. They are here. It's quite encouraging.
Oh,
Thank you, Mom and
nice.
Dad, for joining.
All right. So, okay. So, I think the first I would just focus on. Vera said a lot of things that are very helpful. So, I would focus on the fact that one thing I've realized and has helped me this far. I can't do life alone, and let's not even try to do it. you know, it's good to just be among people that can encourage you. And one thing I do personally, even if I'm not there yet, or any project I want to embark on, I just look for friends around and I just say, I would like to start reading, you know, 10 minutes per day. I just want you to be my accountability partner. So for someone that is also something the person has been craving to do for a while, and then we both jump at it. We might not, I've not gotten there, I'm not yet an adult reader, but the fact that we are now accountable to each other and say, okay, I read 10 minutes today, me too, I read 10 minutes today, I find it very useful in whatever habit I decide to take on. Be it exercise, be it spiritual, whatever it is, I always try to find somebody to hold along. And it has been very, very, very helpful. And then more so having clubs that can actually now, from people that have been there, that have gone through the process, that can coach you through the process, jump at it. Join the readers club, join circles that would spur you on. That for me, if one can start with that, it would be absolutely helpful. That has really been very helpful in my journey so far. So I'll just and then, like you said, just start small. 10 minutes. There's someone in my network now, the Read With Me. So in August 1st, I started the Read With Me global. And the whole concept is, okay, I have gotten a hold of it. Can I encourage people to also do that? I've read in 1 year now, okay, not up to 1 year, we're in November, right? I've read like over 20 books now, even with the old schedule and everything. And starting in August, this is November, and I'm amazed at the transformation. As in, when, like John Maxwell will say that when you go on a journey of growth alone, it's just you. But when people come along, it's like a compounded kind of success.
Mm.
I'm so, it just gives me amazing joy to see people that they have seen reading as they can't achieve it, and they are telling me I've read 7 books, and I'm like, what? How many months? It's amazing. And then not just reading, but the fact that vivid transformation. I'm finding myself. I now understand boundaries. I know when to say no. I know I now place value on myself.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm now making, that those kind of reports is so amazing. So get on, women, get on, ladies. There's so much about you that you is just waiting to be explored. And that's why anytime I see people, I see beyond who they are. I see the great potentials. There's a whole lot that can evolve from you. There's a whole lot that is just waiting for you to take that step. So let today be that day. Like Auntie Mope said, that let's forget all those New Year resolutions. Build habits
Yeah.
that will last.
That's
Even if
now.
it's 5 minutes, just know you have started something, and then you're getting the grooves on, you're getting the vibes. And before you know it, it's going to be taken off you by big more momentum just setting, and then you become, that. And the truth is, just like we always know, readers are leaders. There is no way, there are not two ways about it. And there's a whole lot that awaits us. There's a whole lot that we can achieve. There is more to our lives than being moms, being wives, being. Please just join the glowing club.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you so much, Vera. Thank you so much. And if you are here, you've not subscribed to this channel, please click on the subscribe button. Just click on it now. Click, 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 click. You know what? One thing that's so profound among us, among Mary, among Vera, among myself, and which Mary has just mentioned, accountability. Belong to an accountable system. You can't do life alone.
True.
You can't. This year alone, I know the accountability systems I'm in, not just anyhow. I know how much I've spent for personal development, for trainings, for important things that will better my life. And if you really want to glow as a woman, you have to put yourself there in those places that you would glow. Mary has registered for the 2026 Trim and Glow Club. Yes, she's a Trim and Glow woman. Yes. Vera as well. Vera is our associate. Always there for me, always there. But the truth is, for you to glow inside and outside, you just need to keep developing yourself in every
Absolutely.
area, every area. Nothing should there is no amount of personal development that is too much. What areas do you need growth in? Reading, start. Get in the system, get in the clubs. Mary is the founder of Readers Global. Vera is there, Readers Corner. Get into systems. You can't do life alone, because doing life alone, sometimes you get tired of yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you ask yourself, why am I like this? Yes. But when you are in accountable systems, they help you, they support you.
Yeah.
And that's
True.
what I'm saying to you today. You want to glow, you want to become that woman that you want to see in the mirror, and you always want to be happy that, oh, I'm not the woman I used to be before. Then you have to just keep developing yourself. And today we are saying take a book to read. Read a book. Because reading is part of your self-care.
Yeah.
I made this self-care journal because I discovered that after reading or after I come back from the day, I just want to come back and just pen down and write down about what I've done about my day.
Mm.
Reading is part of self-care. When you take care of yourself, you'll be happy. Enough of being that woman that is always tired and you're not happy. Want to be happy no matter the situation. So thank you everyone that joined us today. Thank you. If you've not clicked on the subscribe button, please click on the subscribe button. And we'll see you next month on our next episode, because every month we'll be showing up here and talking about important things for women, because we want you to glow from the inside to the outside. Glow Mamas. Thank you, Vera. Thank you, Mary, for joining us. And
Thank
I'm
you so
so
much.
happy for everyone that have joined us. Thank you for joining us. And I know that from today, you will start reading, whether in the night, whether in the daytime. Carry your book everywhere. Start reading and let your mind glow. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.